How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Meandering Outdoors. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, awesome to have you. Glad you decided to tune in, check it out. We're out here today. I just decided to, such a nice day, figured I better get out here and start cutting some firewood. They've been masticating out here behind the house, getting some fire clearance and stuff going. Now it's the weekend and they're not out here working, so I won't be in their way. I figured they knocked down a bunch of smaller oak and everything. Can't let that just get ground up, so yeah, figured I'd just go ahead and get out here and cut some of that firewood up, and then probably bring, after I brought the doggos out this morning for a little bit, I was like, man, they got some stuff down. I need to go swoop that up, get a little head start for next year, get it seasoning. But after I get all this caught up, we'll head back down to the house. Told you all that I'd get that video done of Mini, like a walkthrough or whatever. You know, it's just a simple build, but figured, hey, why not? Just been kind of hanging out this week, kind of like last week, still just kind of cut some firewood, catching up on stuff around the house. We were getting some really, really thick, gnarly fog and cold temperatures, and up the hill was pretty nasty, so it wasn't really worth going out and trying to do anything, especially while I got some chores and stuff I need to get done around the homestead. So yeah, let me wrap up around here, and we'll shoot on back and go check out Minnie and show you what I got going on in that little van build. All right, y'all, we'll catch you in a little bit. Now, if you're wondering what a masticator is, that's a drum with some cutting knives on it that are replaceable. Those look like they could go for a sharpening. He got into some rock or something. So here's the rest of the machine. It's hard to get it all in frame though. All right, well, got back and got all that wood stacked up nice. Had to put on a stocking cap and a quick sweater. It's chilling off again real quick, like it was this morning. That fog and everything, when I first took the dogs for a walk and discovered all that wood I needed to go cut real quick. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the basic build that I did in our 2013 Ford Transit Connect. We've dubbed, well, the wife dubbed Minnie the van. So that is her. Most of you have seen her in other videos, but we'll just go ahead and dive into this side first. Why not? This is the side that I keep our sleeping bag. It's a double Sierra Designs. It was at 35 degree. It's been plenty for us. I've got a couple dog beds for the doggos hidden back there. That was a good spot to put all this stuff, and it also serves a function which we'll get into in a minute. Got a camping chair that I shoved a little too good, I guess, down in there, as well as just a old Coleman aluminum folding table. That works great for us. We just set it between our chairs, just set drinks and stuff, maybe cook off of, but works plenty well. Now let's get into the cabinet. And this cabinet's pretty catch-all. Like I said, everything's super simple. It's just a plywood box. I just used 3/4 plywood, threw a couple 2x4s down. But anyway, in here we got a shovel. We've got an axe for splitting wood. whatever. We gotta chuck it for the dogs. The ball probably just came out of there. Yep, it's back in there. Collapsible food bowl. Looks like my propane tank. We got a propane tank we keep back there. Little step stool. Folds out for getting in and out, mainly for the wife, and I can sit on that for here. We got our M18 little mini blower that pretty much everybody in van life has. Great little blower. I've got one of my bug screens here for the big sliding door, fire extinguisher. These are Scepter military food grade 2.5 gallon water jugs. That's what we keep our water in. There's a dustpan. I think there's just a couple random, like a lock for our Yeti, and some random bungee cords for tying stuff down and whatnot. And there's a canvas tarp from Harbor Freight, those green ones. I've got one of those that I'll show you where I set it up here right now. I'm trying to do this quick because it's real simple build, and I don't want this to be a really long video going through every little detail and everything. Just give you a quick rundown. But let's hop in the back real quick. So when I open both of those doors, right up across the top there, I'll put that canvas tarp and kind of hang it out a bit, creates a little shade spot. Just use tent stakes to tie it down, and these awesome magnetic hooks that I got from Harbor Freight as well, including the paper towel rack. They're all magnetic. I just put those over on the outside here, right on the side of the van, and they hold the tarp perfectly through the grommets, the eyelets in the tarp. And then I just string it out, stake it down, and we got a little shade spot out the back if we need to. Beats having an awning and all that stuff. And like I said, I don't really want to load all the stuff up, even if we get a newer van, a bigger one. I wouldn't do the awning thing personally. I'm one of those, like, I think people at this point already know that you're camping, like using, you know, the whole van life, camper van, like whatever, but I just don't want to have a bunch of stuff on the outside. I don't think. Just kind of keep it looking more like a normal van, like I did this one. Like, it looks like a work vehicle. I could park wherever I want. Nobody has any idea. I've actually, when I was butcher for a little while at a meat shop, I'd go out, have lunch in the back of this van in a parking lot, people going all over, in and out. Nobody had a clue I was there. I'd actually open the door and jump out and startle people half the time. They'd be like, I didn't even know anybody was in there. But back to it. So as I said, you know, I just built this platform there out of some 3/4 inch plywood. Got a piano hinge down there so that the whole thing folds over and the entire back is a bed back there. And like I said, I got the dog beds back here and that sleeping bag that act as a cushion, so you can kick back and relax, and it keeps everything at a nice angle and stuff, so you can sit down and just be cozy. And then this material here, I got these custom made on Amazon, and they're outdoor weather or water resistant fabric that's super nice, cleans up really good. The dogs have gotten these things super filthy and they just totally wipe down. I've got a small little inverter there, just something in case I have something that actually needs to plug into an outlet, a couple extra USB charge points. Built this little table here. We got just some stickers from a few places that we've gone, but just real simple. You just slide this little piece of wood over. That drops down. Got a little table for inside here when it's just one person, just for whatever. Just in case you're wondering. That's the hippie exit. Always out the back. You always got to run out the back. And underneath my hat here, we've got just a little 12-volt fan that works. Mainly use it for the doggos if we need it. When we're cruising around or run in somewhere real quick so that they get air, keep the air flowing for them. Let's go ahead and stick that back up there. And that's just bolted just loosely, well, kind of loosely, into the pre-threaded holes that come in the van. I tried to use everything that was already there in the van. The only thing I did drill some holes for is to mount that self-tapping. Let's see, got an outdoor rug down here that we could pull out, another camp chair, trekking poles. This is just an access to that same drawer from the other side over there with the water jugs and everything in it, so you can get to it from inside the van. And as you can see, there's some 1/4 slots here that had a bulkhead that went across this whole thing that I took out, and I utilized those pre-threaded bolt holes to mount that. I ran a 2x4 this way, drilled holes, got some longer bolts, and bolted the bed down in front there. And you can see on this side of the ice chest, there's the original tie downs in here. Well, I just used that one on that side, which you're not going to be able to see, but I just put a turnbuckle with a couple hooks on the end on there, and an eyelet on the side, and then just cranked it down tight, so that's what holds all the bed in. This drawer here holds all of our goodies. Underneath we got a collapsible sink, some extra paper towels. What else is in here? Just some zip ties, water spout thing that screws on the septor tanks, a platypus 4-liter, I believe it's a 4-liter gravity fed water filter. We got our 2-burner cook stove. This is kind of the pantry with like plates, paper plates. This thing's got a hodgepodge of forks, spoons, little medical kits, emergency blanket, like just a bunch of randoms. I got this thing probably 20 years ago at REI. But it's pretty cool. We just hang it up there, and sunblock and toothpicks and toothbrushes and little mini cutting board in here, spatula, just all the cooking utensil stuff. And we've got another cutting board down here, frying pan, paper plates, and then just pantry stuff, coffee drippers, random food, coffee resupplies for backpacking. I carry a couple of the spare 1-gallon tanks, I think they are, whatever, the green tanks. I try not to use them. I've actually had those 2 tanks in there for like 2 years. Like I said, I try not to use them. I try to just use the 1-gallon one, and it works awesome. Let's see, what else can we get into here? So I guess the next thing is the Yeti. I put the drawer slides, I laid them down. They don't hold. Open this a little more. There we go. They don't hold all the weight that they are manufactured for if they're ran, regular style, the way they're supposed to be ran. But you can run them flat. I think you lose like 2/3 of the weight. But with that Yeti, I don't pull it all the way out. I'll pull it halfway out. So what I'll do is I'll just pull it halfway out, about like that. Whoop, see, too far. And then I just slide the Yeti out just enough it's hanging over if I need to drain it or anything like that. And then it just all slides right back in. I do have a 12-volt fridge that we put in here too, but it sits up about 3 inches higher than the bed platform. So with, you know, with the wife and the dogs and stuff, it doesn't work out because it makes the cushion set up and everything. And I designed this with the Yeti so that I can fold everything out, and I'll show you that here in just a sec. And that actually is still accessible from the inside if you lift up the cushion. So normally what I do, I'll just pull the cushions out and set them up top. I just toss the dog beds and everything so that they're underneath the bed. Get this other cushion out of here, out of the way. And then I'll run around to the side over here. Hop in, grab this part. And voila. 6 foot by, I believe it's about 5 feet. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's absolutely plenty of room for the two of us. And believe it or not, 2 rather large dogs. I was gonna say medium size. Riggs is kind of medium size, but he's heavy. He's like an ogre. And then Lily's pretty compact when she wants to be, but she's pretty leggy herself. But yeah, that's kind of it from this angle too. And then we just toss our pillows down, sleeping bag and whatnot. You can probably see the foil over there. That was just a sunshade that I cut because it ended up being absolutely perfect for the back windows. And yeah, I put black duct tape on one side, and the windows are already tinted and they black out the back windows. It's a cargo van, so there's no side windows, and that does the trick as far as privacy goes for at night, you know, because you can obviously, if you got a light on, you'll be able to see through the windows. What else? So like I was saying, you can see I did a cutout there, so you can still access the ice chest and stuff from the inside if you need to. Just lift the cushion up and then push it back down. Got blackout curtains just from Walmart. They work perfectly. I just took an old curtain rod and screwed into the plywood shelf that I made there. Which, if we come into the cab, you can see I just utilized what was here. There was a little wire deal with like cargo net type thing, and I actually utilized where it screwed in and put some 90-degree angle brackets, like shelving brackets in there, and use the holes, the mounting holes from that to mount it there. And then I think you can see, well, let me come around here. I guess you can't, unless I take this out. I got more trekking poles up here. I don't know if we'll be able to see in there or not. It doesn't look like it, but it's just another 90-degree bracket that I screwed on and put down, and it goes behind this piece of trim. And I mean, that thing is solid. And then on that shelf, got another container up here with more food. It's just packed with a bunch of extra food, non-perishable stuff, and like stuff that I can use. when I go backpacking and stuff, it's kind of a resupply. Like, it's pretty nice actually. I've done it to where I'll go out and camp and then decide I want to stay a little longer, and I'll leave everything at camp, packs empty and light. I just run back out to the van, throw some more food if I need it in, and head back out. It's actually quite nice. These are down blankets or poncho liners. I got off of Amazon as well. These things are awesome. They're super warm, synthetic. This tote we just use for some of our toiletry stuff, all toilet paper, dude wipes, ibuprofen. There's a solar power lantern in there, clothes. I think there's a deck of cards in there. I got a couple books up on top. Driftwood that we use as a incense burner holder. Some incense. Trauma kit. Many years ago I was a EMT, so I have an entire trauma kit in there with shears and EpiPen and blood or whatever, blood stop, clotting agent, all the way down to your basic med stuff. Oh, that's a collapsible toilet like seat. Weighs nothing, works absolutely awesome. And that's about it for on the shelf there. I threw some patches up here that I've been given. Fly Fisher 530, he's actually got a YouTube channel if you're into the overlanding and buying type stuff. He does awesome job. Seems like a really good guy. I've talked to him a couple times a few years ago. But yeah, he sent that to me in the mail, which was really cool. Avatar Off-Road, if you're into the van life or overlanding, you've probably heard of them. When I did the Van Expo, they threw that towards me and hooked up a patch and a few stickers. They're really cool guys. They have some great products as well. Audiio, I'm sure you guys remember them if you watched the Van Expo deal. Adam and his daughter, I can't remember his daughter's name at the moment. Unfortunately, she was super cool kid. Did a really cool explanation of the name of their company and everything, which was really sweet. Always nice to get cool little gifts like that. I'm kind of one of those goofballs. I like patches and stickers and stuff. I used to sticker everything. So behind the seats here on the passenger side, we've got, it's like a old mayonnaise gallon-like jug that's full of dog food. Peanut butter one next to it that has milk bones and stuff. It's basically all the dog stuff. Clean canteen, 1 gallon clean canteen with extra water. Their harnesses, rope leashes, all the doggo stuff you have to make sure you have. And that 1 gallon mayonnaise container actually for both dogs holds enough to feed them for 5 days, so that's works out pretty sweet. Let's check behind the driver's side now. All right, behind the driver's side, duster. This is a battery jumping kit. Just your typical one. Got it off of Amazon. It works super good, and it's just another battery bank if you need it. Got one of these plastic ammo cans from Harbor Freight that just keeps all randoms. I got a little mini toolkit in here with wrenches and sockets, battery lead for the inverter back there, some duct tape, just some random stuff, tie downs, extra zip ties, just a bunch of maintenance stuff that I may need. But yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much Mini. That's about the gist of it. No, it was kind of quick, but like I said, there's not much to it, and we're gonna be upgrading, looking for a bigger van, moving on up in the world. It's kind of funny because the whole van life thing, kind of getting back into it. When I was a teenager, like 17, I had a 71 Volkswagen Westfalia, and I took that thing all over California, some of Southern Oregon, and kind of did the whole van life thing before van life was like the thing to do. So yeah, looks like we're actually getting ready to have a pretty sweet sunset here. So I'm gonna kind of put stuff back away. I'll give you guys a shot of the sunset here in about probably 10-15 minutes. It's starting to get dark around here, and it's getting like that rose kind of color, which usually means it's gonna get really bright red after a little bit. So give you guys a shot of that, and then we'll say the toodaloos till next time, huh? What'd you guys think about that sunset? That was pretty awesome. Well, we've come to the end of the video. I just want to say thank you all for tuning in and coming along, and hope I got a decent explanation out about Minnie the van and her whole setup. Cost-wise, if you're wondering, the entire build cost me right around $500. I didn't keep all the receipts and do that whole gamut because I'm pretty handy. I do almost everything myself, and like I said, we beat stuff up going out in the woods and doing what we do. So I didn't want some fancy build and everything. And for a solo rig, for me just going out, it is absolutely perfect. I get the dogs out and the wife and do the whole gamut. We're going to be moving up in the world. We'll probably keep Minnie though. She gets good gas mileage, and if I go do some solo stuff, it's absolutely perfect. Saves the pocketbook a little bit. But with that said, thank you all. Appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. Keep tuning in. Adventures will be coming. We'll be getting out and doing some hiking amongst some other things. And wish us luck. Fingers crossed. We've been looking still like crazy for that new van to come into our life, and as soon as that happens, we'll have even more content for you, and I'll make sure and go through that and share the build process and everything with you guys. Even though I get super focused when I start working, I forget to record and stuff, so I'll try to be pretty diligent and remind myself to get some content and share it with all you folks. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Remember, the woods are for meandering. We'll catch you on the next one. See you, everyone. Bye now.